I apologize. I told Rav Levi that I'm going to speak about the parasha, but in the end I'm going to speak about Chanukah, if it's okay with you. That's around the corner, right?
To have somebody help you from life. You have to know what to do with it.
There we go. It's two pages, right? So everybody's got?
Yeah. Oh, I got 2 page ones.
What happened to, what's his name, the older gentleman with the, used to come with the wheelchair?
He's not coming anymore. Do you have the second one? The copy of the second one?
Here.
There was something,
Politics.
I think the one with the shorter.
He's going, he's talking about Buddy?
Here's the one that starts.
Danish.
Yeah, okay.
More page 2?
He's going,
Yes.
I think he's going to a call in
In the old city.
yeah.
But he's studying in the old city.
Okay.
So does Avadia. Need a couple more down here.
Page, I got,
What's this page 2?
Page 2 here, page 2.
that's page 1. I'll trade you a Mickey Mantle for a,
Okay.
okay, 1 page, 2.
So I hope you're all well. Going through difficult times, and that we should.
They become increasingly more difficult.
Yeah, a lot of blurry areas. We don't know how to
They
go.
do things that are just
They're crazy.
beyond imagination. It just keeps on spiraling onward.
Yeah. Well, I can only tell you one thing. If it wouldn't be for the fact that I know that Hashem is watching over us, I would be really worried. No, I'm just a bit uncomfortable and not uneasy. But look, there were those many years ago who said that how can you possibly leave our nation in the hands of people who are basically not religious, apikoresim, and they should set up a state in Israel and they should run the country. I mean, us as religious Jews, how can we have that? How can we agree with that? And it was a good question, but somehow that was God's plan. So that was God's plan. So we have to rely on God now as well. That even though I don't think that the leaders are that great, or that we can really rely on their judgment. But somehow these are leaders that the God put in charge, so we have to trust Him on that as well.
We were told yesterday, Lev HaMelech B'Yad Hashem.
Yeah, right, exactly. So it's talking about
Right
even
or wrong,
exactly. So that's why I feel a bit more. Even so, I'm not happy with the way we do things, and I don't trust very much our leaders that they do the best for us and all. But the hands of God, so we have to hope for the best and down for the best.
The greatest difficulty for me, what you speak of is a great difficulty, but the idea that so many people define viciousness as evil as goodness.
Yeah,
That is the hardest part of this for me.
it's a lot of blurry ideas. We're not clear anymore. Things are not, not clear cut. It becomes, many people are completely, they mix things up completely. So we should only daven for the best, obviously. Okay, so I'd like to discuss the story of Chanukah, because I get all my pages mixed up over here. We have on the number 1. Do I have number 1 somewhere? No. I have the Gemara in Chabad discussing Chanukah. Maybe I'll steal this one. So my Chanukah, that's number 1. Yes. The Gemara in Chabad. If you ever seen the Gemara inside the Talmud in Chabad, So if I go too slow, if it's all known to you and also tell me, okay, go on, and I'll go faster. But I'm assuming that you're not so familiar, and so just a little bit the Gemara. My Chanukah, what is this whole sugya, the whole not story, the whole subject of Chanukah is only discussed in this Gemara in Chabad. There is one or two Mishnayot besides that only discuss it on the from the side, but not directly. So it's really, for anybody who wants really to learn the Inyanim of Chanukah, should really learn the sugya in Shabbat. It's very, very beautiful. So my Chanukah, what is Chanukah all about? The Tan Rabbanan, the rabbis have taught us, Rechavia Kislev, Yumed Chanukah, Tamneinu. 25th day of Kislev, these are the days of Chanukah. 8 of them. The lo lismepad, the lo lemispad bahon, the lo litanos bahon. So we can't have any eulogies, any espedim, and we cannot fast during those days. Shekshenichnasu Yevanim le'echal, when the Yevanim went in the Eichal after they won the war against the... No, I'm sorry, the Yevanim went into the Eichal, and that's when they were taken over Eretz Yisrael and Yerushalayim and the Beit HaMikdash. Tim'u kol hashmanim shebe'echal. So they made all the oils tameh. Ukshegavra malchut ben Chashmonai v'nitzchum, when the Chashmonaim won the war, badku, so they were looking for oil that is clean, tahor, v'lo matzu el apach echad shel shemen. They only found one jar of oil, she'amunach b'chotamo shel Kohen Gadol. It was with the seal of the Kohen Gadol, so it was never touched, it was tahor. V'lo yabo ela ladlik yom echad. There was only enough oil for one day. Naaseh bo nes v'diku mimenu shmoneh yamim. So there was a miracle, and they were able to light for 8 days. L'shana acheret kav'um v'asaum yamim tovim b'adil v'oda'ah. The next year, they established those days as days of Hallel and Hoda'ah. Hallel is to praise, and Hoda'ah is to be thankful. So the two concepts, the two concepts of Chanukah, Hallel, and Hoda'ah. Maybe next week, we'll learn next week again. I think we're going to go more into this concept of Hallel and Hoda'ah. And now I want to discuss about something else, and that is, if you really think about this ness of the nerot of Chanukah, it seems to be a ness which doesn't serve much purpose. In other words, when we are in danger and we cry to God and God answers and He makes a miracle, good. The miracles has done a lot of wonderful things. Yetziat Mitzrayim and Kriyat Yamsuf and all the miracles throughout the Chumash and Navi. These are all miracles that have really have done a lot of good to us. Here, what has the miracle accomplished? So, if it wouldn't be for the miracle, what would have happened? We would have waited to make oil, which is tahor, and we were not in the Beit HaMikdash for quite a while, while the Yevanim were there. So, another few days, we'll wait until we'll be able to light the menorah. Big deal. Do we light the menorah right now? Do we have miracles so we can light the menorah? Unfortunately, we don't. I'm saying, but we don't lose sleep over it. We lose sleep over many other things, not over that. Right? I'm a bit crude the way I'm presenting it. But the purpose of it doesn't seem to be that important. Now, there was something else that took place on Chanukah, and that is the war against the Yevanim. And that was an incredible war, Ma'atim, Me'ad Rabim, and Torim B'atmeim, what we say on Ananisim. That seems to be an incredible war. We had no chance to win, and we did win that war. And that should have been a reason to celebrate Chanukah. Some mention. Celebrate Chanukah because Nesef Apach Hashemen. I would say that in Hebrew, you have in the Gemara, you have a saying, Ha'ikar chaser min hasefer. What's important is missing. We're dealing with something which seems to be secondary, and we make that primary. Now, I do know that what I'm saying is shocking because, we are raised and so used to the concept of Hanukkah as the candles and all, but, and I'm not trying to say that it's not, but I'm just trying to understand why should it be so. Yes, what is your name again? Avadia, right, I'm sorry.
Is it because maybe the rabbis, the sages, wanted us to focus on Hashem's miracle versus the warriors, so that it wasn't the Maccabi crowd that saved Judaism.
Okay, so we should focus and acknowledge that everything is in the hands of God. So because of that, we discuss that. But it's not really what you're saying. Is it's just to.
I'm not saying.
No. I think what you're saying is probably true that we should concentrate on the hand of God and all. But it's still the miracle should really. It should be necessary to. It should really serve a purpose other. And why is that purpose of having a miracle to be able to do the avodah quicker? Why was that so important for us? That's what we're trying to explain. I'm going to go into it. Let's see, you were first. Yes. What is your question, sir?
No, I thought you were. Are you asking us to?
No. I always. It's a rhetorical question. I mean, I'll be happy to hear any ideas. Always understand me. You wanted to say something?
No, I thought you were asking a question.
Well, no. So it's really introduction more to what I want to speak about. Okay. So before we are going to answer the question, I want to pinpoint something else, and that is there's an interesting halacha in Shulchan Aruch, in your number 2. So it says there, Omrim ala nisim b'Chanukah u'Purim. Kodem v'ala kol. It's talking about saying ala nisim. You're familiar with ala nisim, right? When we say ala nisim, the prayer we say both during the Shmona Esrei and during Benshim. So the Shulchan Aruch says we say ala nisim on Chanukah and Purim. That's on number 2. Kodem v'ala kol. Before we say ala kol Hashem we say ala nisim. V'im lo amro en machzir oto. If the guy forgot, he didn't say ala nisim, he doesn't have to repeat the bench. V'ayeleh. U'mikol makom. So here comes the Ramah like this. Mikol makom, nonetheless, yachol omro betoch shar arachama. Let's say the guy forgot to say ala nisim in the right spot. But in the end, you have Rachamanu Yizakeinu Limod HaMoshiach. Rachamanu means the merciful one. He should give us all kinds of wonderful things and all. So you can add over there the following Harachamanu. Harachamanu Yaseh Lanu Nisim Kemo She'asar B'yamim Ha'em B'zman Hazeh. Ala Nisim Ala Pokam. So there he says the merciful one is going to do Nisim to us the way he did it originally. And then we say and so on and so forth. So you have here a way to make up for skipping it at the right spot. Now the problem is that the wording, the merciful one should do to us nisim, as if we are asking for nisim today. That is a problem, because we're not supposed to ask for nisim. And here it's, I'm bringing on number 3 a source. Hamitpalel al ma she'avar. Somebody prays about something which is already done. Kigon shnichnas le'ir v'shama kol tzvacha be'ir v'amar yeh ratzon shelo yeh kol zeh betoch beti. So that seems like a silly prayer. The guy goes into town and he hears, that someone is shouting, like it's a terrible scream of people who are in distress. So he says, well, God, please make it's not from my home. So that seems to be silly, because if it is, then it's too late to change it. Okay? And certainly to ask God to go back in time and replace what happened is completely not reasonable. But there's another halacha. Or his wife was pregnant, and the fetus was already 40 days old. Now at that time, according to Chazal, the gender is already determined. Right? So he cannot, so says, "Oh God, please, I need a boy, just boys, no girls. I want a boy. God, make it should be a boy." How is it tefillat shav? Means shav means it's a prayer which is in vain. It's a prayer in vain because you cannot ask God to make miracles, right? God could change the gender of the baby, right? God can certainly do anything He wants, and actually, it's in this week's parsha, right?
Dinah.
Right, Dinah. The Dinah was actually supposed to be a boy. When Leah was pregnant with the Dinah, so it was supposed to be Yosef actually, and Leah said, if that baby is going to be a boy, it turns out that my sister Rachel is only going to have one child because she knew Baruch HaKodesh. There has to be meant to be it wasn't special Vayetze, right? Meant to be 12 children. So then, if we're going to be 11 without Rachel, she'll end up having only one, and that's even less than the Shvachot. That's not right. So she davened, she prayed that should be a girl. You could say maybe she davened before 40 days, but I think it might have been even later. So in any case, sometimes one could pray for miracles, but you're not supposed to. So how can you say that Harachaman who Yaseh Lanu Nisim? Yes?
Maybe it's a statement, not a request. It's to acknowledge the fact that all the time Hashem is making miracles.
Yaseh Lanu Nisim is a statement, but it's also
it's not in the Bakashos of Shimon Esrei.
No, it's not, but it's in the Bakashos of the benching, no, yeah. Yeah, so it's a kenu demos and Moshe, chayalam haba is a prayer.
It's a expression of gratitude, right?
It's not gratitude. It's a hope in the future, right? Yanchilenu liyom shekol Shabbos u'menucha is going to give us as inheritance the day which is Shabbos u'menucha. It's a hope. I mean, you can say it's a statement where you declare your hope that that's going to happen. What?
It should have been in the present. Was saying the same.
So it's not really, please give us nisim. I agree with you. It's not a regular prayer for something to be done, but it's a hope that God will make nisim. And why is it that we are why are we mentioning that we are expecting nisim when you're not supposed to pray for nisim? But what you're saying is correct. It's not a regular prayer. I would agree with that. It's not a regular prayer, and like you say, it's not in the Shemona Esrei where we ask our daily prayers. That's true. But it's not my question, by the way. It's one of the Poskim Masters' question. It's a question that is being asked. So I'm saying that there is a little bit of a problem with that nusach in any case, and I want to discuss it. It's not so simple. But you're right. It's not. It's more of a statement of our hope, of our general beliefs that that's going to happen. But nonetheless, here we are basically counting on miracles. Well, you know what Ben Gurion used to say, right? He said that when you make plans in Israel, you have to take miracles into account. So, and he wasn't the most religious person, Ben Gurion, but nonetheless, he acknowledged that, yes.
But what was the need altogether of the nest? Because the Shem wasn't, in effect, Tameh.
It was, probably. Why wasn't that shemet was not, but it was not enough for 8 days. So there was a nice to be able to have the oil for 8 days. That was the requirements that we needed, right? There was only enough oil for 1 day, so now we needed to, and it will take 8 days to get the rest of the shemen tahor, because you have to go through the process of parad u'mayim and whatnot. That takes a while, so therefore we needed the oil to be to light for 8 days. You're not happy, Jackie. What do you think?
No, because I think we learned last year that, as a matter of fact, it was not possible to make it tameh, that oil. The oil was
maybe you learned something else. I'm going to tell you. I think there's another question.
There is a sentence. I don't remember the proper.
Tumashutra b'tzibur. That's what it's, right. That's another question. Yeah, it's a very good, and you can add that question to my question as well, which is all the poskim ask about that question. All the mefoshim. That really the shemen is tameh. However, one is allowed to do certain avodot betum'ah if it's betzibur. So therefore, there was no real need for the miracle to begin with.
Oh, exactly.
Absolutely. That certainly answered the question. I just think that there was a more fundamental question of what was the purpose of the nace altogether. But technically speaking, your question is a good question. Al pi halacha, you don't really need that oil to be tameh, to be tahor at all. Right. So, I'd like to say the following. So there is a very beautiful Gemara in Brachot, number 4. Tanu Rabbanan, Pam achat gazra malchut harisha'ah shelo yasku Yisrael b'Torah. So there was this evil government of the Romans who made a decree that Yisrael should not learn Torah. Ba Papus ben Yehuda. So there was a guy called Papus ben Yehuda, umatzol Rabbi Akiva sheya makil keilot berabim v'osek b'Torah. Rabbi Akiva didn't care about that decree, and he would gather people and teach them Torah publicly. Amalei. So Papus told Rabbi Akiva, Akiva, aren't you afraid of the government? There are, the police everywhere. It's dangerous. So he said, I'm going to give you an example. What is it similar to? There was a fox, and the fox was walking on the bench of the river. He saw fish that were jumping around. What are you jumping? What are you running from? Well, we're afraid of the nets that are spread and try to catch us. So the fox told the fish, why don't you come here on the land, on the firm land, leave the water, and we're going to all live together the way we used to. I'm not sure what it's referring to when we used to live together with the fish, but I don't know if you believe in evolution, so maybe at some point there was a state where...
it sounds fishy.
It sounds fishy, yes. So in any case, there was some time where we all lived together, so come in on the ground. So Amrullah, so the fish answered back, the fox, are you the one that they say about that you are one of the most intelligent animals on earth? You're not a smart one, you're an idiot. And now we're in the water. The water is where we're supposed to be. That's the place where we can live. And we're still afraid. If we're going to be now on the ground, so much more so we're going to be afraid. So that's the end of the mashal of the example of the fish and the fox. Continues Rabbi Akiva and says, Avanachnu, so we. עכשיו שיושבים ועוסקים בתורה, שכתוב בה כי הוא חייך ואורך ימיך כך. What we are doing now, says Rabbi Akiva, by me teaching Torah and by the Jews learning Torah, we're doing what's natural for us, what's normal for us. And like the fish are in the water. And it was still afraid, it is still a danger. So if we're going to go and not learn Torah, so much more so we're going to be afraid. אמרו לא היו ימים מועטים עד שתפסו רבי עקיבא וחבשו בבית האסורים. it didn't take too long after that story when they caught Rabbi Akiva, the Romans caught Rabbi Akiva, and they put him in jail. ותפסו לפפוס בן יהודה וחבשו אצלה. Papus ben Yehuda was a character. He was caught for different things. I don't know what he was doing, some business, whatever, not so kosher. I don't know what he did wrong, but anyways, was also put in jail. אמר לו, Papus, מי אביאך לכאן? Rabbi Akiva said, Papus, what are you doing here? אמר לי, אשריך רבי עקיבא שנתפסת על דברי תורה. אוי לו לפפוס שנתפס על דברים בטלים. So he said, Papus said, Oh Rabbi Akiva, Ashrecha, praiseworthy, lucky you are that you were caught for teaching Torah, and vow to Papus who was caught for non-meaningful things. B'shah she'otziu Rabbi Akiva l'harigas. It's a sorry Arugei Malchus, right? When they took Rabbi Akiva out to be killed, Zman Kriyat Shema, it was a time of Kriyat Shema, but you saw Kimen B'saro, Masakot Shel Barzel, they would comb his body with a metal comb and rip his flesh. והיה מקבל עליו על מלכות שמיים וצא שמע ישראל. אמרו לו תלמידיו רבינו עד כאן? To that extent, his student asked him. אמר להם, yes, כל ימה הייתי מצטער בפסוק זה בכל נפשך, אפילו נוטל את נפשך. Right? אמרתי, מתי יבוא לידי והקיימנה? So when am I going to reach that level? ועכשיו שבא לידי להקיימנו, היה מעריך באחד עד שתצתה נשמתו באחד. So now for sure I'm going to be בקיים למצווה, and he would say השם אחד, and he was saying he was saying the אחד very lengthy way, and that's when he passed away. יצא בת קול ואמרה, אשריך רבי עקיבא שיצאה נשמתך באחד. The continuation, Malachi HaSharet said, זו תורה וזו שכרה. ממתים ידך שממתים. אמר להם, זה פסוק תהילים, אמר להם חלקם בחיים. So which it's a paraphrasing the pasuk about the people that are dying in the hands of God. יצתה בת קול ואמרה, אשריך רבי עקיבא שאתה מסומן לחיי עולמם. So Bat Kol came out and said, praiseworthy Rabbi Akiva that you are entering Olam Haba. So it's one of the classic stories of our sages, of Rabbi Akiva.
What's the last part? That the Malachim said, this is your Torah and this is its reward.
Right.
And then what's Mamtim Yedach Hashem?
That's a pasuk in Tehillim. And
besides that question?
Yeah.
What does it mean literally? Mamtim
Yedach
Hashem.
Look at the pasuk inside the Tehillim. I don't remember right now. I have to look up at the pasuk. I apologize.
Okay.
Okay.
I just don't know the word Mamtim.
I think the Mimetim are referring to people. I don't want to say something. I have to check out the pasuk again. I don't remember right now. So, there's another gear says that there's another.
What was the answer
There's an answer. There's no real answer. Hashem tells them. It's not over here. It's another Midrash where Hashem tells them that don't talk about it. Like he interrupted them, and he says, if you're going to speak about it one more time, I'm going to bring back the word to Torah Vavo. I will destroy the world. This cannot be discussed. Why these things can't be understood. The answer that they give, we're doing from other Chazal, is that there's a Chazal like this. Kach also lefonai. This is what I had in mind originally. That's the lashon of the Chazal I'm thinking of. So. What is this? What's he answering? This is what I had in mind at the beginning. So they say the pshat, to answer your question, is when God created the world, so originally it says, Bereshit bara Elokim et hashamayim et haaretz. Elokim created the world. Elokim is midat adin. And then And then HaKadosh Baruch Hu was Meshatef Midat HaRachamim. Hashem saw that it's not possible to have the world only by Midat HaDin, so he had to bring in the Midat HaRachamim. So...
didn't he know in advance?
Okay, that's a very good question, but somehow it means that the world had to have a basis in Din. And once that basis is there, you can bring in the Rachamim to play a role. But to answer your question partially is that you still have some great people who live in the level of Midat Adin. As a matter of fact, the Sforno brings that up very, very beautifully. The Sforno, we spoke with the Sforno, I think last week, the Sforno, the great commentator from Italy. So he says, Yaakov Avinu made a neder to HaKadosh Baruch Hu in the Parshat Vayetze. Maybe I'll read the...
Psalm 17, verse 14.
It's switched.
It's
switched.
What?
Oh, here.
Yeah, right. So he learns like this Sforno. So I'll read to you inside how it comes out so beautifully, the psukim, the way he learns.
Okay, 17, 14.
So Yaakov says like this. Vayida Yaakov neder lemor, im yeh Elokim imadi, God's going to be with me. Ushmarani b'derech hazeh shanochi olech. And God will watch over my ways, and I'll be safe. V'natani lechem le'echol, He's going to give me bread. Ubeged lilbosh, and He's going to give me what to wear. And furthermore, this is how he learns this Sforno. V'even hazon v'shavti b'shalom el bet avi. And God will protect me to come back to my father's house. Meaning, says the Sforno, if you take care of my basic needs, I'm going to be safe, I won't get sick, I will have enough food, I will have enough money to wear, you'll take care of my basic needs. And I will not feel that I go crazy, because people don't have basic needs, then they cannot function well. So then if you're going to give me that, Vaya Hashem li lelokim, then I'm going to relate to Hashem with the level of Elokim. Al pi midat hadin.
It's a bargain.
It's not, no, it says, look, that's what I want. I want to reach the level of Rabbi Akiva. I mean, it was great, Rabbi Akiva, but I want to reach that level where I will be able to go through life without needing you to have Rachmanut on me, to have Rachamim. Because I'll do everything right, from A to Z, Al pi din. But I need certain things for that. I won't be able to do it if I'll have to worry about what food am I going to have tomorrow, what am I going to wear. I have to check my bank account every morning. I can't do it. You take care of what I need, and then I commit myself to live at that level. So to answer your question, Rabbi Akiva, he reached that level of din. So din, din is so difficult to reach. So he might have done something wrong, and therefore, you have this horrible death. But al pi din is, certainly, easier to accept. So that's what Hashem said. Kach olam machshava lefonai. Originally, when I created the world, I created b'midat adin, and this is why Rabbi Akiva is getting that. So that's the answer to your question. There's another Chazal than this one who goes into that. So in any case, so why am I bringing this Chazal? Why am I bringing this Gemara? This Gemara is telling us that what Israel needs to be alive is not only in terms of breathing and being able to function in a physical way. To be alive means that we have a relationship to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And we have Torah, and this is to be alive. Otherwise, we might as well be dead. And look at number 5, so to 3 lines Amar Rav Yehuda Mashlo Man Avodah Zarah. My dechti v'taseh Adam kedagei ayam keremes lo moshel ba. So it's a pasuk in Habakkuk that you made human beings like the fish, like a scrolling animal in the water that no one can catch. So the pasuk says, the more explains like this: Ma dagim shebayam, kevan sholim liyabasha miyad metim, av bnei adam, kevan sheporshim livrei Torah u'mitzvot miyad beitim. Something intrinsic about human condition that they have to be connected to God. And for us it means Torah and mitzvahs, and if we don't have that, we're basically dead meat. It's really the same ideas that Rabbi Akiva was saying to Pappus. Right? We are not considered to be alive unless we have Torah with us. That's a very strong statement. So
it's interesting because, right, like, isn't that Yaakov's whole thing that he told Eliphaz, like, take all my money? Because poor person, why didn't he say take all my Torah? Because without Torah, I'd be like a dead person. Not a real question, but I'm saying, like, there's also the idea that without Gashmias, we're like a mace.
Well, I think that what he meant that without the money a person is considered to be dead is that in a way is dead because he cannot function. If he doesn't have penalties, he cannot function b'olam hazeh. So it doesn't mean that the truth is that a Yid is not really dead even in such a situation. Chalila, we should never know about that because he can, still has the connection to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, but he's certainly considered to be dead in terms of that's how people look at him because it's so difficult to function. So, but if so doesn't the Torah is really dead, it's enough to be dead that you can tell Esav that I killed him because he's dead enough, but he's not really dead. Without Torah mitzvahs, then he's really dead.
We see here from the earlier piece, right, that he said, give me Gashmias so I don't have to worry.
Right.
So maybe that's also.
It's also connected, right? If you don't have the minimal. This is so true what you're saying. The Rambam actually says that in Yad HaChazaka. The Rambam asks a question. Says that there is no reward in this world. All the reward is in the next world, and the punishment, everything is in the next world. So he asks, well, since that's what I'm telling you, that this world is not the place to get the real reward. So then why is it that the Torah discusses only matters of this world? It says if you listen to the Torah, then you're going to have grain, you're going to have all the good things, rather in Pashas Eikev, in Pashas, in different Pashot, we see that God is only discussing the reward in terms of this world. So the Rambam is asking, according to me, it's not correct. So he says, no, what you're saying. He says, no, because if a person is not going to have, it's connected to Rasul as well, if a person is not going to have the basic needs that he has in terms of this world, then he will not be able to engage properly in spiritual matters. So if a person is going to worry Chalila about all kinds of great difficulties, then he won't be able to concentrate on Torah and all. He's going to have it so hard. So Hashem says, I'm going to give you all you need in this world so you can put your mind and deal with the spiritual matters. But these are people who are really into doing the right thing. So therefore that's what they deserve. But people if anyways they don't care about dealing with spiritual matters, so then they're going to get their punishment in this world and whatnot, and this is it's more complicated than that. But this is what the Rambam says that idea. So it's certainly true. So this concept of being alive is only if one is connected to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Otherwise, he's not considered to be alive, and we feel it's completely it's not that life is not worth living. We can also understand what were the Hashmonaim and ones who were fighting the Greeks, What were they thinking about? I mean, what kind of crazy war you're doing? You are attacking the people. They're not even threatening us in terms of our lives. It's not like Hamas, they were trying to kill us and all. They said that you shouldn't be involved in terror, right? You should, all the Gzeras in terms of Shabbos, Milah, Rosh Chodesh, right? So all the spiritual Gzeras. So, why don't we keep a low profile and wait for the Gzera to pass? They usually do, they don't stay forever. We managed through many, many centuries, not centuries, but certainly throughout the centuries, we managed with the different decrees, and we were able to survive those decrees. And then, we outlived them, and then we'll be able to go back to the Torah and so on. People did in Spain, many of them, and whatnot. I mean, they did more in Spain. Some of them converted. I'm not saying it's right, but I'm saying, but why go and fight them directly? This seems to be even against the halacha. What right you have to fight? And here again, if you think of it, it's you're somech on the nes, right? But you're supposed to be somech on the nes, because there's no way that you can survive such a war if there's no nes. Right? How can, such a small army, according to some shit, only 7 of them or something, so how are you going to attack an entire army just with a few individuals? Of course it's somech on the nes. But then again, if the point is, look, God, if we're not going to win this war, so you want us to be disconnected, that's not alive. We don't want that. This is not. So you might as well kill us. Okay, that's what you want. You want us to die? Fine, we're going to die. So might as well die, fighting. Because we're going to fight for our life. We're not fighting to conquer the enemy. We're not interested in a military victory. We are interested in staying alive. And still staying alive will only happen if we have a military victory. That's what we're asking for. And if you say we're not deserving of miracles, fine, so then might as well die. But that's not alive. That's not something that we can live with. That this is a completely different approach than saying, well, we trust that God is going to give us a miracle, therefore we are going to fight that war, because anyways God is nice and sweet and he's going to we're not supposed to do that. You know the famous Midrash about Avraham Avinu and Haran. Haran was the brother of Avraham Avinu. He was the father of Lot and of Sarah, right? Sarai. And so Avraham Avinu had the big, was challenged by Nimrod about his beliefs in monotheism. And Nimrod didn't like that, and he threatened him with Kivshan Ha'esh, to go into the furnace. And of course, we know Avraham went to the furnace and he was saved. Now, the Midrash says, I think that Rashi brings it in the Chumash, that Haran was also asked, and where are you there? Where are you holding there? So Haran says, well, where am I holding? Well, it's kind of a difficult one. So let's wait to see how things are going to develop, So Avraham came out alive. So I said, well, I think Avraham is correct. This is kind of silly to believe in those different types of idols and all. He's got a point, because he thought, if Avraham is going to be alive for saying those things, I'm also going to come out alive. And they threw him into the Kivshan Ha'esh, and of course he didn't make it alive. So what's the difference? Avraham believed in God, and maybe Lot also believed in God. Maybe he was convinced. Look, God was so nice, and he saved Avraham Avinu, and so then he's going to save me too. What's so wrong? But exactly the point, because for Avraham Avinu, for him not to be thrown to Kivshan Ha'esh and having to live in a world where the MS is not coming out, that's not alive. So might as well die. This is what I believe in, and for me it's not life. So I jumped into the Kivshan Ha'esh. For Haran, he could live very nicely without with Nimrod and his friends. He had no problem with them. He just felt, okay, if I have to choose between the two, then I'll take the winning side. And God seems to be nice about it. So then, we'll. I believe that probably God is right and not the idols, but doesn't come with that feeling of recognizing that there is no life unless there is an attachment to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That's the point I'm trying to say. So now we're going to go back and understand that was the reason, that was, as we said, that was the point of the Maccabim, that was the point of the Milchama against the Yevani. Now, Klal Yisrael could have said afterwards, maybe it's all crazy. Maybe you're just a bunch of lunatics to the Maccabim who did all that. And you know what? Sometimes God had let's be nice to them. Let's how would you say it? All right, those Meshugoyim, they want to risk their lives because of it's not the right thing to do, obviously, but should go and endanger yourself to that extent. But let's be nice and we'll save them. I like them. But it doesn't mean that their approach was right at all. Maybe one could say that, right? It says, about Noach. It says in the end of Parshat Noach, it says, HaKadosh Baruch Hu regrets that he created humanity. It says. So it says, Vayomer Hashem emche et ha'adam asher barati me'al pnei adam. I'm going to destroy humanity. Me'adam ad be'ema. Not humanity, all the entire creation, from man to animals. Ad remes vad av hashamayim, even the crawling insects and the birds. Ki nichamti ki asirim. I regret that I ever created them. V'noach matzah chen b'nei Hashem. So the Bible says, ki asitim v'noach. I even regret Noach that I created him, because it's not that great after all. Matzachein benai. Okay, I like him nonetheless. All right, even though he's not the best. He's not Avraham Avinu, far from it. And I regret having him too. But Matzachein benai. He's got a nice smile. There's something sweet about him. So it doesn't mean that. Obviously, it's much more than that. But the point is that it's not really existentially that Noach deserved to survive. That's the point. So maybe he could have said that also. Hashem, some shiganes, but I like mishiganes after all. They're kind of, it's nice to have them around, so we'll save them. So maybe we would say that. So Hashem shows, no. You care so much about being connected to me. You know what? I also care about that. There's nothing else I care about. And you know what's going to happen? You're coming to the Beit HaMikdash. You're finding a pach shemen. And there is not enough oil for 8 days. And the pach shemen, you could say, like Jackie was mentioning, that you can use it in a way which is tameh also. No, I want you to use it the best possible way. Because there's nothing more important to me than that connection. I'm going to make a miracle. And that oil is going to last for 8 days. You know what? 8 days. Because that's the amount of time you need to have a new oil. Because I want the mitzvah that you are making to be done the best possible way. You know why? Because the same way as you care about being attached to me, so do I. So that validates so much entire approach of the Maccabim. So therefore we go and we celebrate that miracle of the NACHLAOT, because that shows that this is what our Chanukah is all about, is that ability to be connected to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, to do the mitzvot, and this is what He cares about, that's what we care about, right? So this, I think, explains it very nicely. Now, when he says Rachamon Uyas Elonu Nisim, means that we pray to HaKadosh Baruch Hu that if Chalila we are in a situation where we feel that the only way that we can survive is through Mesiras Nefesh, then we pray for you, and we pray that HaKadosh Baruch Hu show us that again and again. Because sometimes we need Nisim, because otherwise our life is not worth living. And that kind of a prayer you can do. You cannot just ask, God, please give me a miracle. But if your life is dependent on this miracle, because otherwise the life is not alive, and it's not worth living, then we ask HaKadosh Baruch Hu, then please, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, make a miracle so we can survive. Because life without being connected to you, without without that's not to be alive, like Rabbi Akiva said. Then in such a case you can ask for a miracle. I think it's
Can you please translate word by word number 6?
This I didn't read it. Kol hamoser atzmo al menat la'asot lo nes. Anyone who sacrifices himself with the intention that a nes should be done to him. In other words, says, well, I'm willing to jump into the fire because I expect a nes. Ein osim lo nes. Then no nes is going to take place. V'shelo la'asot lo nes. But if he's sacrificing without the intention of getting a nes, I'm sacrificing myself because life is not worth living. Osim lo nes. Right? That was the point it was trying to make. So that's what but there's many more things to discuss about Chanukah. Next week, we'll wrap it up. Yes.
Logistical question.